Welcome to my video game review, where I'm going to take a look at the compliance of video games with the International Rules of War. The main categories are distinction, treatment, weapons and tactics, and specific protection. I'll be looking at some of these and then rating the games based on its compliance. First up is Rainbow Six Vegas. The game is a first person shooter where you take control of the Rainbow team and must stop a group of terrorists. The game encourages tactical entry into rooms and buildings, decisions such as whether to breach with stun grenades or smoke, depending if there are hostages and civilians present or not. As the game is based around terrorists, there are numerous hostage situations involved. Enemies are highlighted with a red mark over their head, while civilians are marked in green. By commanding your team, you can tactically save the hostages while taking out the terrorists. Attacking civilians in the game is prohibited, and if you kill any, you must restart the mission that you were on. Overall, the game is reasonably compliant, especially with the rules of distinction. I give the game a rating of 8 out of 10. Next up is Modern Warfare 2. This is another first person shooter, and it's the sixth game in the Call of Duty series. It received rave reviews, scoring a 94% on Metacritic. It is the biggest selling game of all time in the UK and the second biggest in the US. The game itself has caused great controversy in certain communities, one seen in the campaign especially involving the massacre of civilians in a Russian airport. At the point in the game, you are undercover and partake in the shooting of innocent civilians. Here's a clip of the section of the game.
Remember, no rush.
When asked about it, the company behind the game said that the scene is designed to evoke the atrocities of terrorism. At the beginning of the game, players encounter a mandatory checkpoint in which they are warned that an upcoming segment may contain disturbing elements, and they can choose at this point not to engage in the gameplay that involves this scene. At other points in this game and the Call of Duty series, there are sections where torture is involved. Overall, the game isn't very compliant and fails in a number of areas. It's questionable if scenes like this are vital in the game, or to the plot, and could possibly be left out, as based on sales of the gameplay itself would always sell the game. I give it a 5 out of 10 for compliancy. Next up is DEFCON. This is a real-time strategy game created by an independent British game developing company called Introversion Software. The game takes place on a computer-themed world map with 6 main territories. The aim of the game is to destroy as much of the enemy's population as possible, while having as little of one's own population destroyed. At the end of the game, casualties are usually in the millions. Players use a combination of ground, air and sea units to attack each other. Nuclear missiles and bombs can be used to wipe out the enemy. Players even get bonus points for using genocide. Overall, this game is completely non-compliant, and based on the theme of the game, I think it would be impossible to alter gameplay without having to completely change the game. I'm giving it a rating of 0 for compliancy. That concludes the review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. What